super excited to announce that the Cajun Cardboard brand has added another affiliate partner. It's BCW Supplies. You can find them at bcwsupplies.com for all of your card collecting, protecting, and display needs. Penny sleeves, top loaders, boxes, anything you need, there's page after page of supplies at BCW. Just make sure at checkout you use the promo code CAJUN, CAJUN, to get 10% off of your order. Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana, and I am pleased to have a special guest, the first time a guest on the channel, my good friend Tim with BCW Supplies. BCW is a fantastic affiliate partner of the Cajun Cardboard brand and YouTube channel, and this is the first appearance of BCW on the Cajun Cardboard channel. So Tim, welcome to the channel, man. I thank you for carving out some time.
Yeah, man. It's always good having a nice little conversation with you like we just did before we hit the record. Yeah, so good seeing you.
Tim, is your head shrunken or is that hat bigger than a normal hat? I think it's the hat that's big, right? You don't have a head issue. It's just the hat.
No, I'll tell you what, though. I will tell you this. I thought about, should I wear the hat on this pod? And I said to myself, because I haven't done a podcast in a while, I just had a baby, so I've been out of the game now for a few months, right? And I said, for Cajun, one time for Cajun. That's my motto for today. One time for Cajun.
One time. All right, give us the origin of the hat. Let's get it out of the way, man, because people who have never met you, people who don't know you, people who don't know your history in the hobby are going to be like, what the hell? Explain the hat. What's happening? Why? Where? Give me the origin story of the oversized hat, Tim.
Yeah, my buddy Corey, who owns a company called Show Your Slabs, also works very closely with Zion cases too. But my buddy Corey, he saw this product on Shark Tank. I don't know how he did it, but he was able to get in touch with one of the owners that was on the TV show Shark Tank and rushed. Technically, there was two big hats, but he doesn't like to wear it, right? So he rushed it to, I don't know if you remember the event called the Mint Collective that was out in Vegas. They did it 2 years.
100%. Yeah, Vegas was the first year. They did what, maybe 2 years worth?
2 years. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. And he had it rushed to Vegas. I ended up being on like a bunch of podcasts, including one from my buddies out in South Korea called Hobby Korea. And where they even dubbed my voice and everything, right? So then, and I was kind of like, people at the show itself were like talking about it, and it was like a icebreaker, right? It was like, sure. You're wearing the big hat, what do you do? And it's like, I can tell you about my product. But I also wore it like from the show back to the hotel. Like I didn't care about taking it off. And then people like in the casinos and people were like, oh, that's cool, that's funny, blah blah blah. Because at that point, not a lot of people were actually wearing it. It had just been on Shark Tank, not a lot of people. And that's how it happened. And I'm actually buddies now with the owners of Noggin Boss, and they send me free hats if I ask for it. So, but yeah, it was my idea technically, but I just made it look so good that
undeniable, dude. I'm not going to argue with you, right? I'm not going to argue. It's undeniable. All right, talk me through you. Let's talk about who you are, and then we'll talk about how you ended up linking up with BCW and what your status is with BMW, your responsibilities, your roles. Tell me about your entry point to the hobby, just sort of chronologically in a nutshell. How did you get involved with the sports card hobby?
Yeah, my earliest memories. Keep in mind, my brother's 3 years older than me, and my father's obviously older than me, right? So my first memory, and they were already collecting, but they collected baseball and football, and I'm just love basketball. So my first memory is I'm 8 years old, opening 1990 Flair. And like a full hobby box. When I say hobby box, right, there's no autographs for the younger guys out. There's no autographs in it, and it's like, I don't know, probably 200 something cards you get in it. So, so that's a vivid memory. And then right around that same time, between 8 and 10 years old, I started caddying, which is like $20 to $40 a day, and especially during the summer. And I just took that money, got my bike, went to Rex's Rare Coin, and then I was just buying. I just love basketball, right? So I just wanted my favorite players, and that's how I got into it. Right away, it clicked for me that cards was the member, because it's not really memorabilia, right? But cards is the thing that can connect me to the athletes more so than like at that time. You couldn't really buy game one jersey. I mean, you could, right? But like I couldn't. There's no eBay at that time, right? So and then and my collection is it's not that I don't really collect that many expensive people. But then so fast forward to which I've never really stopped buying cards. But you go through life, you start working, and then fast forward to losing my job on March 15th of 2020, right during the pandemic. And it was kind of like over that month's time, it was kind of like I started selling cards on eBay or the stuff that I didn't really care about. And then I came up with the idea for a product called Slab Strong. And at that point, I didn't want to go back to work for anyone, right? I didn't want to go back to the restaurant business. So yeah, just nonstop. I started linking up with people and just reaching out, trying to network. Did a ton of networking. People liked my product. People enjoyed like the way I sold it. And that leads to BCW then approaching me and licensing my product called Slab Strong, which is called Slab Bumpers now. So anyone go to the website, use code Cajun for 10% off.
That's right.
Slab Bumpers and any other thing you want there too. But and the cool thing about that was because I had the big hat thing going, I used to wear like the card with the chain, the card, all that stuff with like an absorbent amount of space taken up, like huge chains, right? And that's my original product. And
this was Slab Strong. So this is what Slab Strong was before BCW came and gobbled you up and brought you along for the ride. Okay.
Yeah, I was the first to market with these slab protectors, and I got 2 competitive companies, and all 3 of us doing successful. So shout out to those guys too. But yeah, the product itself just kind of, I wouldn't say went viral, but just hit big, right? And then the TCG world started picking up slab bumpers and all that other stuff. And what was cool about the whole experience was because running your own business and having a product like that you have to sell, right? It's nerve-wracking, but for them to come in, take over manufacturing, and the owner too, Eric, also was like, hey, you just keep doing your thing. We want you to head our sports cards and memorabilia category, and you just keep being you, and it's been amazing.
That's fantastic. And you were, first of all, I don't even know if I got a chance to thank you. Maybe I did by text, but let me thank you personally because you hooked me up. I told you, I forget, some mutual friends put us in touch and said, because I was looking for some affiliate partner and I use all BCW supplies. I mean, I've got, we were talking beforehand, when people think of BCW or they think of, supply companies, all they think of is penny sleeves and top loaders, but there's a shitload more stuff. We're about to talk about that. But I reached out to you and said, look, man, I'm looking at bringing on another affiliate partner, and I don't have a long list, right? Yeah. And I want BCW to be it. And you came, highly recommended as a trustworthy guy who would sort of align with my values and how I do stuff. And you've been there. You were an entrepreneur. You started Slab Strong. So you've kind of done what I'm doing with the Cajun Cardboard brand. And so we hit it off right away. And you're a pretty straightforward guy. I'm pretty straightforward. Yeah, I think we got a deal done. And literally, you put me in touch with the powers that be at BCW. And I think we got a deal done in about 15 minutes. And it was pretty easy. And so I've been real thankful, and they assigned me for the first time. BCW was the first affiliate partner of my channel where I can actually give a tangible financial benefit to the folks that watch my channel and the folks that subscribe to my channel. If you use the promo code Cajun, you get 10% off of everything on BCW. So I was very excited about that. I've been asking other affiliate partners if there was a way I can give back to the folks that do watch the channel and that do use the promo code. And this BCW is the first one that gave me the opportunity to do that. So I appreciate you putting me in touch with those guys up above and getting a deal done. And you're still my contact guy at BCW because I can catch you on your cell anytime, So
no, I appreciate you saying that. But so this is a special thing. And it's like when we talk about the hobby, technically is a niche thing, right? But it is huge. And you can go after as BCW is a corporate company, right? It's a family owned company, but we do big business, right? It's good.
Yeah,
so, but in this field though, I don't know, you try to sign, I don't know, LeBron to a deal. Obviously I'm not actually saying we would do that or could do that, but it's no, I like to go after the guys that are honestly talking about cars the way you do. You put out a ton of content. I've always enjoyed it. I'm glad that you reached out to me because I don't usually when I see people content, I'm I'll just watch it. Right. But I never think to, plus, it's kind of weird to approach someone out of.
It is weird. I feel weird asking for money.
No, but that's what I had to do, right? The networking thing is unbelievable in this hobby, and you have to you have to kind of speak up and ask, right? Because I think in our conversation too, it's like one of the things, right? Because we're probably laughing, having a good talk, and it's like, well, hey, like, what do you actually want? And that kind of can go into a separate subject about like when you're negotiating in this hobby at a table, like, what do you actually want? Like, you kind of have to say it with a little bit of bravado, right? And then because you're gonna get either a no or I can't do that, but we can do this. So yeah, dude, I definitely had a fun conversation with you, and I love what you're doing. That how much content you're pumping out. So yeah. Guys like you that are really about the hobby and just kind of want to have these conversations. And then you have some people on that I enjoy, like you got Hoj on sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We got a zillion mutual friends in the hobby, and we had never met until recently via phone. But it's funny. I'm glad you're on here with us today to tell us about BCW. Talk to us about BCW. Let me go back and let me just go pull up the main website here because I want to kind of talk through the website and how to navigate it, and I want to kind of explain to people, like we were saying, Tim. BCW is more than just a bunch of penny sleeves and top loaders. Obviously, we tend to forget. We get into this hyper focus where me especially, I'm like 90s basketball cards all day long, and I forget there's TCG. Yes, those are cards, but it's a whole different segment of the hobby, and it's massive. Then there's also comic book collectors, there's also memorabilia collectors, there's folks that want to not just protect their stuff, right? We talk about BCW and we think protect, but there's more to it. There's how you display your collection. I vault a lot of my high-end stuff. I also keep everything that's, I want to keep in my collection that I buy and sell that's raw. I keep it in BCW stuff. I keep pointing over here because it's right here next to me in penny sleeves and top loaders in these long white 3-row boxes. It's just the easiest way. But there's a lot more to BCW than just penny sleeves and top loaders. Talk me through sort of how you guys compartmentalize that. I mean, I guess it's memorabilia, it's cards, it's comic books. What am I missing? What else is out there? What's the safest way to sort of explain how BCW sort of diversifies its product line?
Yeah. So what's fun is that's actually part of my role as well as the head of category is to we just hired a great guy too that came over from Wizards of the Coast, and he's been able to really like organize I would say like help me organize my thoughts, right, to make me better as a category manager. And we got this new process to like release new items, and there's 3 that when I joined the company that I wasn't aware of, right? Like I just don't like, I go to card shows, I go to my local card shop. I wasn't really buying the stuff online that I would love you to show. You could show something called a card catalog. You could show something called a card bin. And then also one of my favorite things now is the binders that hold top loaders. But see, like this thing right here, I got 3 over here to the left of me. It's one of those products where it's like I like to be organized, but I like you get to see a little bit, exactly what's in the collection. And I'm a big fan of like what you're saying is being organized while able to display it, because you only have so much room to actually display a card, right? Even if you went wall to wall with cards, you have so much room.
Sure.
So that was one of the products, the one you just showed, the card catalog. And then in the same aspect, we have this thing called a card bin that comes in like, I don't even know how many colors. I think it's like 5 to 7 colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another way too to organize while also display. And we got a ton. Actually, I'm going to break a little news for you right here.
Okay.
Actually, we haven't talked about this I'm probably going to get fired. This is how big this news is, Cajun. So we have like the 7 colors for these card bins, and they've done really well. They're actually, I love them, right? I stack them. They're perfect. We're actually coming out with a white card bin to match kind of like the nostalgic look of dollar boxes, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like that, but it's white. And the goal is to kind of hopefully everyone switches over to these because they last a lot longer.
Replace the dollar boxes, right? No moisture issues and just easier to stack. They're stackable, I'm assuming.
Stackable, yep. They lock too. You can see right there, there's a lock mechanism. So when you transport them, but it's little stuff like that and that wasn't even my idea, by the way. That's my guy, Andrew. But the little ideas like that, like what they wanted me to do when I came in was be a guy, which I am, in touch with the hobby. And let's just get good products that are going to protect these cards so people trust us and keep coming back to us. But yeah, you're right though. Penny sleeves, top loaders, cardboard boxes, backing boards for comic books. That was what BCW is known for. It's a 40-year-old company. It's owned by a great family. But our storage and display solutions, I think, are unmatched, or if not, right up there with anyone else in the business. So, and of course, we got to mention again. I mean, I don't even want to sound commercial, but use code Cajun for anything you want. Get it cheapo. We don't mind losing a little bit of margin at BCW.
You're better at my job than I am. Yeah, it's 10% off can add up. Like if you decide, look, it's time, man. Look, I've got, probably 200,000 raw cards. My wife hates me. We've got one bedroom less than we're supposed to have at my house because there's these 3-row white boxes freaking everywhere, Tim. She hates me. If I decided to actually, let's take care of these cards, right? Let's put them in those card bins. Let's put them in the card containers, the monsters, and let's get it to where it's stackable. At least it looks a little bit better. It's easier to preserve. You don't have to worry about, like termites and crap like that eats into paper, right? It's a little more protected with that plastic composite. You may end up spending hundreds, maybe $1,000 on BCW if you use the promo code saving 10% of $1,000. It's $100, man. You can go out and buy you a Kaboom. Well, not anymore, but you could have bought you a Kaboom, 5 years ago, something like that, right? But I think people just don't understand how this goes. I mean, it's so deep, and it could not be simpler to navigate the site. Like I'm on here right now, and I don't collect coins, but there's coin flips, there's coin slabs, there's coin pages. I don't collect any music. But if you collect, CDs and tapes and stuff like that, which does sort of appeal to me, it's very nostalgic.
There are some things I see, right? There's some things you see where you're like, oh, that would be cool, but like
I know, yes.
Yeah.
But look, even photographs, like even if you have photos of your kids, this doesn't even have anything to do with collecting cards and stuff like that, but just like to put photographs in, of your kids or whatever, you can protect those. Like here's a little soccer player kid, right? You put him in a photograph sleeve to preserve and protect the photograph. If indeed you're into the hard, touchy-feely stuff, right?
I'll show you something funky that we have these. I didn't realize. So we have these. I forget. I'm gonna look like a fool. I forget what we call them. They're oversized top loaders essentially, but just by like a few millimeters.
Yes.
For that, like there's a set in 90 or 92, like the USA set. The cards were slightly bigger, like they were a little bit bigger in top loaders. But I realized, and this is my
90 Bowman was, or 89 Bowman, I think was like that, right? They were longer. Oh, that's a baby. I see it. I know what that is.
She's born now, but this is when I realized that the sonogram photos could fit in top loaders, and just because I'm a collector of cards, like it was like for me, this was the greatest thing possible, and I have it.
That's hilarious.
But so and over time, right? It's funny because you see a lot of like you would go to Gem Rate, Card Ladder. They do great like breaking news type things. You look at and there's great. You too, right? When people talk about how much volume's coming from eBay or whatever the case is, right? Volume coming from Fanatics Collect. It's a weird for me. One of the metrics that I use is, and I know it has to do with some breakers, right? But the amount of supplies that we're selling is unbelievable. And we haven't seen a slowdown on supplies, which to me makes me think, there's a ton of breaking going on. So obviously people are going through top loaders. And then with the record breaking, highest month and then the second highest month right after that, the card hobby is doing well, like extremely well. And that's one of the metrics I use when I'm seeing the background numbers of how much literally like penny sleeves and top loaders, but also semi-rigids for people sending to graving.
Big time. I was about to ask you about that. Yeah.
And then we have the new tab. I don't know if you've seen them. Oh, actually, no. We'll have to send you some to promote, but we'll send you some for free. Wink, wink. You know what I mean? We got the new tab sleeves, right, for the grading companies. To pull it out easier. We have those now. Like I said, we have the semi-rigids. We have the ones for TCG, so they're just a little bit smaller, thinner, and the ones for basketball cards, and you can fit a little bit. I think up to like 79 point. And but that's one metric that I use besides the eBay numbers and the other numbers I'm seeing is we are just selling a ton of supplies, and it just lets me know how healthy the hobby is.
I grade a lot, and so this right here appeals to me. Yeah, you got to send me some of those for sure. Absolutely, or I'll go buy some. I can do that as well.
No, I'll hook you
But
up. We'll send you a little package because, like I said, you're one of our good affiliates. So
these are awesome. And look, let's just get down to the nitty gritty. We've been doing this for a while. We've obviously both graded a lot of cards, but for folks that are new to the hobby, what you're looking at right here is essentially a tab card sleeve. So you would take your card that you want to send to PSA so they can give you a PSA 7. You want to put the card into this tab card penny sleeve, essentially. It's got a little portion up here. I don't know if you could tell. It looks a little bit darker. It kind of extends. It's almost like a little lip on the top that extends. And so when you put your card into the semi-rigid holder, which is precisely what PSA requires, well, not requires, but very highly recommends you send your cards to be graded in, you can actually just pinch that lid and it kind of pulls the card out so they don't have to kind of like mess with it and squeeze the semi-rigid and go get it themselves where damage may occur, because it has been known to occur that PSA can damage cards. It's happened to me. It's probably happened to you. It's happened to a lot of the people that are watching this channel. So why not make it as easy as possible on them? Here's the other thing is, if you got one of these tab card sleeves and you can pull it out real simple like that, it's probably going to put your grader in a better mood. And, you know,
it's kind of like the goal, right? That's one of those, that's one of the, is it a goal? Like, how am I going to word this? That's one of those things where that might not be true, but just in case, let's give them a tab sleeve. Right?
What's
like,
the harm
just in
in
case it is
trying
true
to keep right? What's the harm in trying to schmooze an NBA referee before a game? Nothing bad comes out of it. Why not go up and say, "Hey, how are the wife and kids?" You know what I mean? Maybe you get an extra call. It's the same thing with a PSA grader, man. Let's get on good terms from the outset. If your cards are all askew in there and they're jammed in, or you use the wrong size card saver, or you put them in top loaders or something like that, they're just going to be pissed from the jump. Put your stuff in order, take the extra measure, and do everything you can to get the best grades back that you possibly can. So that's the plan. Yeah. What else? Is there anything like what's the number one selling product at BCW if you had to guess?
Well, besides like top loaders and things, so technically, like BCW is known as we sell a ton of comic book backing boards. Like, we make them in house. There's a few products we make in house. We actually also have a new product that is look, we all know that comic books is a huge market as well, not just cards.
Yeah.
And we sell a ton of cardboard stuff. And we've been doing that. The cardboard has been, I think, our longest. Like, that's what BCW was known for in the beginning.
Okay. So I don't know anything about comic books. These are like almost like rigid rectangular pieces that fit into like a giant oversized vinyl, like penny sleeve thing.
Exactly.
Behind the comic to keep it flat and make it less bendable. Is that what those are?
Yeah. It kind of frames it pretty nice too, but it's basically, it's the top loader of the penny sleeve, right? It's just the opposite. You want to keep it as flat as possible. And I don't know, I always get confused about it because I'll go to a comic book shop because I collect comics as well. And I don't really know the difference in terms of sizes when it comes to silver and modern age. But for the people out there that know about comics, I'm sure you do. But yeah, we're huge into cardboard. We also, the cool thing that I've been doing, I want to say since I joined them, or right before I joined them, they started this. There's a product called, that internet's been weird all day.
It happened this morning because I was trying to pull it. Card ladder was down. Y'all were down. Yeah. PSA was down. Anybody that is serviced by a company called Cloudflare was down. It's like a big deal. Like, that's a big ass deal. There's a lot of sites that I use, and it was like, is this me? Because then I went to ESPN, and ESPN worked. Then I went to my website, it worked. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. So apparently Cloudflare is down, and so that puts everybody else down.
It's one of those subjects where it's like, I don't know too much, but you know enough to be dangerous on some subjects. Where it's like, when this internet goes down, if I worked at whatever the place that it went down, I would just, kick up my feet and go, guys, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know a damn thing about this.
But no, so right before I had joined, one of the owners, it's two brothers. One is a mechanical engineer, and he had like retrofitted. I'm probably using the wrong words here. But we have this patented technology called laser welding. And so we take like the same material. It's I can never say this word either, but I'm going to try for you. Polypropylene.
Yeah.
Right?
I've heard the term.
Yeah. And it's like a lay flat. So like when you in your old binders, right? At some point the plastic would like crinkle, like it would get like wavy. So with this new technology, instead of crimping the plastic, we're just laser welding it so it lays flat. And then once that happened, and it's a huge product for binders and like 9 pocket pages, but we figured that we could also do the same thing to penny sleeves. So they started making for panini stickers and 48 Bowmans, so that when you put the card in, instead of it just being a normal size penny sleeve, you could frame it right in the middle because the laser weld put out a little box for it. And the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing with tobacco sleeves. And like where you were able to display like the T206s or like new Allen & Ginters, but keep it perfect centered in the top loader.
Yeah.
But it's just little things like that, right? Because look, how exciting could it be, right? We're a supply company. You put the things that you get excited about in our products. But we wanted to make sure that, like I've been saying, I want to see as much as my cards as possible. So we got some cool display items. They hired a guy that came up with a product that really like changed his life, right? And me. We got the binder with the top loaders. We got a lot of cool products. So yeah.
What slab the slab bumpers? We're back up. Okay, good. The slab bumpers. Talk me through those. Why are those important? I see people swear by those, and you can match up colors. I mean, people love color match, right? Cards. People love PSA red labels on red cards. They like BGS 9.5s on gold cards. You can pick all kinds of different colors. Talk to me about the different colors for these slab guards, and they come 6 per pack for $22.99. That's not bad at all. And if you buy in bulk, you can save significantly more money. If you use the Cajun discount, you can save even more money. So I know a lot of people don't like to vault. I vault the hell out of stuff because I live in the craziest environment, the craziest climate in the world. There's nothing down here that's safe. But I know a lot of people like to keep their babies in hand. And the slab bumpers is a really cheap, ineffective way to kind of preserve the corners so you don't have to get this thing regraded or reslabbed by BGS or PSA. Do these slab bumpers fit BGS and PSA, or is it one or the other, or how does that work?
Well, we have 3 brands, so the sizes are different and all, but we do have 3 brands at BCW Supply. So you can get BGS, you can get PSA. You technically can still get SGC, but the same way you're seeing a drop in the grading, you're seeing it with like the sales of the bumpers. And then hopefully we'll have CGC as well soon. The whole thing was I owned 5 websites when I thought of the product, right? Because one of the first things you get excited, right? So you're like, what do I name it? And then I got to have a website. I got to make sure I got that. So I went with calling it Slab Strong. But the original premise of this thing wasn't necessarily for protection, right? Like I just wanted to, I got my wife's Cricut machine and I used some of the stickers to wrap it around a screw down, right? Because it's about the same size as a slab. And I was like, I made the design. I was like, this would look cool as a framing mechanism for high-end card, right? Or really any, And then I tried to 3D print it at first, and it was too brittle. But then when I learned about injection molding, and I was able to injection mold a silicone, I realized that it's also a protective mechanism. Because like I said, at first, I just wanted to frame and color the card nicely. Right?
Set it apart. This card's special. It's got a frame. It's just edge a little bit more. Let you know the card's different.
Exactly. But even though it was still called Slab Strong, I just thought that was a cool name. It was it wasn't necessarily about the protection of it. It was a little bit. But then, like I said, once I started getting the samples in, I started making some videos throwing it. I was on a couple of different YouTube channels, and I would throw like 30 feet.
I remember seeing those. That's when I first saw the hat, and then I saw you throwing shit, and I was like, this guy's really confident in his product.
Yeah. And the thing was, though, bro, I was nervous every time. Nothing happened, but I was nervous. I was like, this. And then
maybe I should take a little something off this, change up instead of a fastball.
Yeah. And then it's funny. I don't know if you know, you might know the brand, but I've only hit one person like throwing it.
Yeah.
It was the dude from the dude in Canada, Karn. that like he owns. What does he own? Slab Sharks or something, or Shark Slabs? I don't know. I forget what it is right now. Don't kill me, Carl. My bad. But yeah, so that was fun. The whole process to get from losing my job to coming up with Slab Strong to just continuing my collection as well, right? Because I never stopped this whole time. I was trying to save money, but also like there was some cool stuff coming out. There was some good rookies from Providence at the time, like Jeremy Pena. Remember the MVP of the Houston Astros MVP, the shortstop that had a crazy World Series. But anyway, he's from Rhode Island. So yeah, it was just weird thing of like then just going to meet people and talking to vendors. But yeah, so the color, it all just started with I wanted to make Slab Strong bumpers for graded cards cool. I just thought it would look cool.
All right, enough about BCW, enough about Slab Strong, enough about the hat. I want to talk about your collection. Let's talk about cards, right? I want to talk about you. What's the last card you bought? Show me the last card you bought if you got it in hand, Tim.
The closest to the last one I bought, so this would have been just a few months ago. Oh, no, you know what, dude? I got my Grail at this national. So at the last national, I finally got my Grail.
Let's go.
So I trust me, if I could get a 10, I would want a 10. But the 10 technically is the Grail. But my favorite number is 5. I got this OCD thing. I like PSA 5s. I like SGC 5s, like anything graded 5. And I got, so keep in mind, I'm from Rhode Island. I collect 75% of my collection is like Rhode Island based, Providence based.
Fair enough. Okay.
So I got my 1961 PSA 5 Lenny Wilkens this year at the National. I had a SGC 4, but I wanted to step up.
Yeah.
So this was, and I bought a bunch of stuff on eBay, but this is like my favorite, biggest buy of the last year.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a legend. NBA Hall of Famer, Lenny Wilkens.
Yep. When did I get this? Well, this was relatively recent. Massive Braves fan. And I don't care that Freddie Freeman's on the Dodgers now. Still love him, Freddie. You can always go back to Atlanta. I'm not from my side, so I can't say come back. But love Freddie Freeman. So I actually bought this raw. It's just cool when you buy a raw card on eBay, and then you send it in. I got a 9.5 on his gold Bowman first. So, yeah, my massive Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones fan, and Braves in general. Anything related to Rhode Island, brother. Anything. Like I'll show you something cool. So and I'm talking about history because there's so much vintage stuff. If people don't know this, and I always tell like people like, oh, you collect Rhode Island, how much can there be? Like I don't know if like exactly what city you're from, right? But I'm pretty sure there's like someone that went to the MLB or NBA or whatever from your area. Or even if it's way back in history, like there's 8 guys in the T206 set from Rhode Island, right? So I collected all 8 of those.
There you go. Okay.
But there's something called the King's Philip War, kids. Look it up. It's the bloodiest war before the Civil War. King Philip, his real name was Metacomet. His father was Massasoit. But back then, in the very early tobacco days, they were huge American icons, right? History icons. So, for example, there's this 1930. This was on a post cereal box in 1930. You could cut out back then. But there's a PSA 2 of King Philip because the King Philip War was one of the most. But that all happened in Rhode Island. Their land was in Rhode Island, right? So I go back to anything from X-Files shot 4 episodes in Rhode Island. And 4 of those episodes made their own card in those 90 sets. So, I mean, anything Rhode Island, I'm on it.
Now you're in Nashville, though.
Dude, I'm not collecting nothing about Tennessee. I'm going to be Rhode Island until I get – you can hear my accent. I'm never going to change my – I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what I am nervous about. I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. Well, East Providence, Rhode Island, technically. My wife's from Massachusetts. So we got the New England accent.
Yeah.
But we've been here 2 years, and we just had our baby. If she has a Southern accent, Cajun, I don't know.
She's going to have a Southern accent. My accent, people think I sound – I mean, I have a little bit of the South. I mean, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, right? So I could talk one way, one place, and another way, another place. But, like, it just catches you and grabs you. There's no way around it, you know, especially South Louisiana. That's very different than Tennessee, though. Very, very different than Tennessee and Alabama. Those accents are very different than South Louisiana accents for sure. I'm sort of a hybrid. Nobody can really pinpoint where I'm from. The funny thing is, like, I'm Cajun Cardboard, and people think like I am like representative of true Cajuns in South Louisiana. I do not look, I do not sound, I do not talk. I'm nothing Cajun, except that I'm just blessed to live down here with some of the coolest people in the world. In South Louisiana.
Catchy. It's a good name.
Yeah, it's a good name. It's a good name. It's too late to change it, so I'm gonna stick with it. But it's funny when I'm at shows, people say they just say Cajun. I'm like, oh God, I guess they're talking to me. Nobody else in Louisiana collects freaking cards hardly. At least not on a relatively high level. So there's only a few of us out there, but there's some studs down here in Louisiana that do collect cards. But well, cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on the channel. I'm at your service. If there's ever any new product you ever want to come on, and even if it's not a new product, if there's a product that you think is being undersold or that needs more attention or anything like that, my platform is at your service and at the service of BCW. I am privileged to be an affiliate partner with you guys, and I don't take it for granted. I want to do everything I can to make sure people understand that it's more. There's more than just protecting your crap and throwing it in the closet, right? You can actually display it. The way you store it. If you get a Kobe autographed basketball, they got you covered. If you got a soccer ball, they got you covered. A baseball bat, a baseball jersey, a comic book, a TCG, fill in the blank, coins. You go down the list. Even photos of your kids. Maybe photos of your child in the embryo you could put into a top loader. Apparently, we've proved that today on today's episode. So, anything you need, you got the Cajun Cardboard channel, Tim, and make sure everybody at BCW knows that's the case.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, man.
And let me tell you, I forgot to mention, I probably buried the lead here. To get to the BCW website, I'm sure most smart people who watch the channel can figure it out, but it's bcwsupplies.com. If you Google BCW, it'll come right up, but it's bcwsupplies.com. Use the promo code Cajun, all capital letters. You're going to save 10% off your order. Buy $1,000, save $100. Go buy maybe an Aurora or a Downtown. You can't get kabooms for $100 anymore unless it's a really bad player. Tim, thanks for joining the channel, man. Stay in touch and holler if you need anything.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Thank you, Tim.
Appreciate it.
Man.